I remember a period of my life in which I was able to manifest and create so effortlessly. I would create good experiences, I would create good times, I would have good things happen to me without even trying, like back in high school. And that made me realize something very, very important about how we yet again end up limiting ourselves, about how we block ourselves by becoming better, about how we end up using our knowledge against ourselves. And that happens as we know more. You see, the more we know, the more we learn, the more we realize, the more we become aware of about the truth in life, the more we hold ourselves accountable to this knowing. So the more you know, the more you end up setting this knowing as limiting factors in your life, because now you know them. And that happens because unfortunately the ego is a survival mechanism, and so anything it learns, anything new that comes into its knowing, it likes to challenge it, it likes to take it for a challenge, for a competition. It likes to see itself doing better against that thing. It's like it sets another obstacle for itself in order for it to surpass it, and then feel really good about survival, and then once again rise on that survival hierarchy. And the problem with that is that our lives is a reflection of who we truly are, of what we truly are internally. In other words, whatever you keep reinforcing, whatever belief you keep reinforcing through emotions, thoughts, actions, you end up projecting that belief externally, and then your life becomes just a reflection of who you truly are internally, down to your core. And that projects in each and everything in your life. And that's how we create life, by the way. You keep reinforcing a belief system, repeatedly reinforcing a belief system, until it becomes a vibrational match, until you become a vibrational match to it and you align with it, and then it manifests externally. And the reason this is a problem is because the more you know, the more we know about life, the more you become knowing, the more you're gonna set this knowings against yourself, the more you're gonna realize that in order to be like a really good person, I have to be this, I have to act this way, I need to become a specific, I need to have a specific image, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then this becomes your reality. And that's where the quote, ignorance is bliss, comes from. Because ignorance could be bliss. But don't get me wrong, this is not an invitation to ignorance, but rather it's an invitation to stop using your knowledge against yourself, to stop using your power against yourself, your powers against yourself. Because that's what ends up happening the more you know. What happens is that, just like back when I was in high school, I did not have any specific image. I was not analytical. I did not think that I did not know that much about spirituality, that much about awakening, that much about being, successful, or what it means to be disciplined or successful or this or that. And I was just living, unknowingly. And things would happen to me as such, I did not have standards, I did not have expectations of myself, to do this in order to have that, to be this in order to become that. But then as I progressed further, as I started learning more, as I started realizing and knowing more, now I started thinking, okay, I need to go against myself. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to do this. I need to do that. If I want to be successful, perhaps I need to apply discipline. If I want to be healthy, I have to wake up early. I have to I have to work out, I have to like take a cold shower, I have to eat organic, I have to eat greens, I have to eat superfood, and I have to take vitamins and supplements and this and this. And that's how I become really healthy, or that's how perhaps I become successful. That's how I sort my life out, and then life would start working out in my favor once I do all of those things. And then this became my reality. And the more I reinforced those thoughts, the more I became like enamored by what I'm learning and by the knowledge and by the truth that I've arrived to, the more it controlled me. And that's how you let your dream reality be the same thing itself that keeps you from reaching your dream reality. So you set a standard, you set an endpoint. That's how I want my life to be, and this is the path that's gonna lead me there. And then by you being so stuck up on how that should look like, on the image of that dream reality, or on what you should have to feel good, to be fulfilled, you end up blocking other blessings from your life. You end up, ignoring and neglecting whatever hints, other different hints from the ones you've imagined that might actually lead you there faster, or to a way better one than this reality that you've imagined. And that's how you work against yourself. That's how your knowing, your knowledge, your learning, your intellect, your connection, your pursuit of the truth, whatever, ends up working against you. And that's simply because we get too attached to what we set up. We get too attached to what we learn because we approach it from the ego. We use our ego as the forefront of our pursuits, of our learning, yet we claim spirituality, we claim detachment, we claim freedom and sovereignty, yet we put our egos at the forefront of everything we do in life, unknowingly and unintentionally even, I would say, but it just happens that way. The more you observe life closely, you're gonna find how true this is. The more you look, for example, I remember this one time in which I was taking supplements. I became, fascinated by the concept of supplements, or not fascinated. I just realized how important it is to take, vitamins, multivitamins, vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin C, biotin, magnesium, zinc, and I was taking all sorts of supplements. And I never, before that, prior to that, I never experienced any. I would go for a medical checkup, lab checkup, blood tests, I would do a full blood test to check the functions of my body and of my organs, and so on and so forth, every now and then. And then I never experienced anything before that. But then at one point I was taking the supplements, and then I stopped them, and I remember I was feeling bad. And then the next time I was feeling bad because I felt, I was not taking that much care of myself anymore. I was not doing what I believed to be the right thing. And then a few months later, I would go for a checkup, and I would have so many things out of balance, without a reason. I'm still young. I was still very young, and I was very healthy. I ate well. I was exercising back then, or I had just actually stopped, working out. I used to be into bodybuilding, and that happens, And similarly, if you go to a religious person and they would tell you, they would know it, they would say it for a fact. They feel as if once they've stopped being like pious enough, once they stop doing all sorts of practices, to connect and be so deeply devoted, or it does not matter, you see. All that matters is that they decreased. Once they decreased their previous level of devotion, they start experiencing bad things. They could be way more devoted than other religious people, yet they would experience more bad or negative experiences or negative outcomes out of things and negative situations in life more than those other people who are less religious, but they did not decrease their level of devotion at that period of time. And that's simply, it's because all of it is a mental construct. It's an emotional construct. Once you feel, it's an egoistic survival construct, better stated. And so if they feel that they are lacking, that they are lagging on what they should be doing, then that's what's gonna end up, creating those negative experiences. But if you're not religious at all, and if you're not practicing, and you're not devoted by any means, then you're not gonna have to go through that same negative creation and creating negative experiences. And this reminds me of of the social cognition models. It's the, or the social cognition, social, let's say social cognitive theory. You know, there are two different things, but they're very similar. But the social cognitive theory is one of the behavioral change theories in psychology, and it talks about self-efficacy. You know, how you perceive yourself able to do a thing, to perform a thing, and that in turn affects each and everything you end up doing. So if, for example, let's say you want to change a behavior, you want to take a specific action, and then in order to take that specific action, or I mean, you want to take that specific action for its goals, for the behavioral goals that it's going to provide. Like, for example, waking up early, exercising because I want to be healthy. And then you think about it first and foremost using self-efficacy, and that is, am I able to do this thing? Would I be able to carry out this task? And if for some reason you started thinking no, there are many other different factors. I'm not gonna go into details. You know, there are outcome expectancies, there are social normative consequences or circumstances, like the norms, the social, there are many other things, you know. But for now, this is what I want to mention. And if you don't believe that you can perform that action very well, or well enough for it to provide you with the goals, with the outcome expectations you have, then you're gonna change your intentions altogether, whether consciously or unconsciously. Here it's referred to more as a conscious process, but even unconsciously, you would change your intentions. Your pursuits are gonna change. So if you felt that this thing is very hard, is way out of your scope, is way out of your reach, then you're gonna change your seekings, even if that's what you truly want consciously. Subconsciously, you're gonna say, nah, I'd rather stay here in my comfort zone. I'd rather, be limited whatsoever. I don't care. I just don't want to go through that kind of experience. And that's how you end up limiting ourselves. That's how you end up, by knowing more, you end up using that knowledge against yourself. And like I said, I'm not inviting you to ignorance. I'm inviting you to stop using that knowledge against yourself by not being so stuck up, by not being so bent up on how things should go, on how you should be, on what should lead to what. You never know which path is gonna lead you there. All paths lead to Rome. There are tens and hundreds of paths that could lead you to the same endpoint. Just like you could reach you could create a breakthrough, a shift in your reality through shadow work and healing through the blockages and traumas and the trapped obstacles within your body. Or you could simply meditate and raise your frequency above all of those traumas and above. You connect, have a deep devotion, connection to what's beyond, to the understanding that you are more than just the physical, the 3D, and then you raise your frequency and then you overcome all of those traumas. You dissolve through them without having to go through the intense process of shadow work and breaking yourself down to bits and pieces. There are many different approaches, and there are other even approaches that I won't get into now, because that's not the point. The point is not getting too stuck up, because you never know how things could turn up, how well things could turn up for you. Just like that time in high school in which things were happening for you magically. You wanted things and you were not thinking that much about them. I have to look this way to have, to get into a relationship. I have to do this and that to become, to be cool and get as many clout, as big clout as possible, and have as much group of friends, the greatest group of friends, whatever. You were not really very analytical, and you did not set limiting beliefs against yourself. You were not reinforcing your false beliefs, unnecessary beliefs, through emotions, thoughts, or actions. And that's why things happened to you. That's why things turned out magically for you without you even trying. You were trying perhaps, but it was always working out of nowhere. If one thing did not work out, you were not that attached. You went for another thing and it happened, and you were not stuck up on how things should come out, unless you were. And then that means things were not really working out that well for you in high school as well. But now, the more I tell myself, I need to get out of my comfort zone, I need to do this, I need to be that type of person in order for me to experience success, in order for me to become healthy, in order for me to experience a shift in my reality with regards to this or that aspect. I need to do this. I need to take that step. I need to be committed. I need to change myself. I need to become better 1% every day. I need to read one book every week or every month. I need to research. I need to keep, struggle and suffer through it in order for it to happen. And guess what? That becomes your reality. God says yes, because God is always saying yes. You want this? This is who you are? Then yes. I'm fearful. I fear that things are not going to work out in my favor. Yes, you should fear it. I hate life. Yes, you should hate it. And your external experiences are going to reflect this. I hate myself. Yes, you hate yourself. God is always saying yes. You just have to truly align yourself with what you want. And then God is going to say yes to that as well by repeatedly reinforcing the beliefs of that thing. Don't bother what you have to do or what you don't have to do. Just imagine, just live through your desired future. Just be that future. Get closer, connect with it, feel good about it. Feel the love, feel the loving person that you're gonna be. Feel the joyful person, the fulfilled person that you're gonna be through that reality. Connect with it so deeply that you don't care about anything that's happening in your life currently, because you feel so good, because you know anything you do is gonna lead you there. And that's how you end up getting there so effortlessly. Don't think about what you should be or what you should not be. Yeah, perhaps to a certain extent, but at some point you have to stop. I've done all of the learning. I've done enough learning, way more learning than I should. Probably I've become so critical, so analytical, so cynical, and then I'm healing from that, because I realized that this is working more against me than for me. Having that intellectual, critical edge of being so highly analytical of each and everything in life and how things work out for me and how life works out for me and this and that. It worked more against me by knowing more. So by becoming better, don't let your becoming better create a harder experience for you in life. With that being said, I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AF's Conscious Frequency.